going on? We've got either or. Was it cyber hack, or solar flare? It's kind of strange. Like, what the fuck is going on? Now, I was unaffected by this, but I do remember here in Australia, we actually had a similar situation, but it wasn't. Well, I don't think it was around the time of a solar flare. This is the weird thing. I guess also if you were watching and you saw a solar flare, maybe it's an opportunity for people to try and, muddy the waters even further. And that's when a hack could take place. Now, initially I was going to have a look at some crypto stuff. Now, I guess this is important because, well, I don't know if it's important in relation to DeFi, post-chain, etc., but what we are seeing is, I guess, vulnerabilities, risks. I forgot what camera I was using. Vulnerabilities, risks, and threats, attack vectors. I guess you could call. I guess on DeFi itself. Now it's good that we didn't see any crypto networks go down. You could say Hex unaffected, Post-chain unaffected, DeFi unaffected, which it was, which is good. But what caused it? It's just really strange. I mean, people said they could still use their Wi-Fi, so net was still up. Just mobile networks were down. So I guess if you were using, I don't know, if you're running a node off mobile, but the Wi-Fi was still up. That's strange. Anyway, which is good. Now, this here, it's this is why I try not to go online. I get sucked into this Armageddon sort of shit. It's like Doom porn. Doom porn? Called Doom porn. If you think about it though, these things are going on, so it's worth taking note. Now, let's have a look here. It says AT&T. So I don't know if you guys probably in the US were affected by this. But AT&T down with iPhone stuck in SOS mode, as people say, world is ending. Now SOS mode. I have a phone. It is also stuck in SOS mode. However, I do that intentionally because there's no SIM card in it. So that in effect would be the same as not having not having any mobile network. However, I can connect to Wi-Fi. Not sure if you can actually hardwire a phone in. Maybe. Never tried to like LAN via USB-C. I'm not sure that's possible. There's any adapters. So we've got here people say, world is ending. I don't know. I didn't hear that myself, but maybe some people were claiming that, which is probably not the best thing to remain calm. It's like, remain calm because the world is ending. It's like, yeah, maybe don't do that. Now, this one came through. Did a solar flare cause AT&T outage? Space weather experts weigh in. It's just a theory, and we all know theories can be wrong. Theories that was this huge network outage, which I wasn't affected by at all, was on the other side of the world. Like, how did it take place? So the only thing I can add to all of this, because I don't know, I'm not a space expert, I'm not a telecommunications expert, I'm not a network engineer expert. I don't know all the ins and outs of how mobile networks work, but I do know it happened. On a positive, the servers have been restored. It was huge though because there's a lot more people per capita in countries like the US, and affects more people. Now here in Australia, back in November 2023, I think it says we had a company here called Optus. It crashed. Similar, largish to AT&T in the US. There's, I guess, one main one, Telstra. Optus is also largish, and their network crashed, and people couldn't. Well, some people weren't able to use their mobile phones. Now, I think that one, if I'm not mistaken, the internet was even down, but I do not recall because mine was actually unaffected. I don't know how, because I thought I was actually on the Optus network, but my stuff was still okay, which was good. The next thing is here. It says, why Why did it happen? Because this one too, the equivalent of 911 went down, I believe. It said, 10 million people left without internet. This one actually was out without internet or phone reception. So, for instance, if you're running a validator to do with, any cryptocurrency, ranging any cryptocurrency, including Pulse Chain, including Hex, it may have been, started copying slashes and things like that. So that would suck, right? Now, yeah, so what I was saying, so to add to that, so with ours, it said hospitals, businesses, FPOS machines, 000 calls from landlines were all affected for more than 9 hours. However, in every major city across this country, this was Australia back in 2023, November. So very similar. Now, they were talking about, they didn't exactly explain why, which is the strange thing, because I'm trying to compare, I guess, for instances, was it a hack? There was no solar flare in this instance. There was a security update. Now, it says basically because of very high demand. So one network went down, causing huge strain on the other network. So in essence, it brought about a form of a DDoS attack. The system got overwhelmed, which was not good. So it's in times of despair, everything will crash even further, which is great. Not really, but it's just, I find that stuff fascinating. They didn't have any backups. Well, they didn't go, what happens if this, the planning wasn't there? What happens if this goes down? What happens if that goes down? X, Y, Z, what happens then? It's we'll just wait and see what happens. We found out one failed and the other one almost failed. In saying that, mine actually was okay. So it didn't 100% fail, which is good. Now, I'm not sure how it works in the US, if AT&T provide networks to every single person there, or they're all streamed off the back, because as far as I'm aware, Telstra here in Australia provides the majority, and then they sell, and then people get access to mobile through these on-sellers. So there might be a different company called, mobilephone.com, and you get internet and phone services, and they use the network from Telstra. Optus, I think, have their own towers, and there's another one here called Vodafone from memory. Now, this just broke down what actually happened. Panic. This one I was only looking up recently, so November 23, November 14, a week after Optus major network. 10.2 million, 400,000 businesses, the company is pinned down. The cause, it was a routine software upgrade. So maybe you would think though, if Optus was sharing notes with AT&T or other companies' network, mobile providers, internet providers were sharing, notes, they might understand that this is a risk. If we do a routine software upgrade, everything might crash, which would be really bad. It'd be funny if they thought of it we'll do it around the solar flare, and then if the solar flare happens, then we can blame it on the hackers, and then we can just say nah. But it's just interesting. That's actually what happened. It wasn't a hack. I personally thought it might have been a hack of some sort, or vulnerability, and it turns out it was if this is true, reportedly, it was a routine software update. So routine doesn't sound very good, if you ask me. Now, unprecedented outage. Look. Struggled to restore its services over a 12 to 14-hour period. I think the US is back online, so that's pretty impressive. They did it about less than 8. It says Optus outage shakes Australia, business banks, hospitals, public transport, affected. Not good. So I don't know. I don't know what's really going on. I thought I'd talk about it because everyone seems to be talking about it, but powerful twin solar flares are up from sun and cell phone outage spike across the US. Is that coincidence? Or is it? Will it be found out later on that it was actually due to a routine software upgrade, which, funnily enough, failed because for whatever reason they didn't take note that this already happened in Australia. Was Australia the test case? Who knows? So I guess the moral of the story is there? What do you do? What does DeFi do when you lose the internet? Do you have backup internet, multiple providers, backup power sources, etc., etc.? Maybe that's a lesson learned. I know it could be an expensive one because if you're already paying for internet through one service, and it goes down more often than not. Sometimes you have multiple backup services, because I know in my particular household we have about three. Yeah, about three. I'll say three, and then they're all separate. And so when the outage did take place, some people were down, some people weren't. Some services were fine, some services weren't. So maybe that's a good thing to think of if you're planning on running a validator on Pulse Chain, maybe. What I was more interested in was ever so briefly, I did see a glitch in this about 12 hours ago. I don't know where I was pulling the price feeds from. It scared the fuck out of me though, because I saw Ink at $1. Hex was a lot lower. Pulse X was lower than it was, and Pulse Chain also was lower than it was. I actually can't remember. Pulse Chain might have been at sack rate. It was very strange. I was like, is this real? So I refreshed, it pulled back up to the normal price. So I don't know if that was to do with any glitches in the matrix, but yeah, that happened. I don't know if anyone else got that. But the next thing I'm thinking about is this here. Basically, will Ethereum's update eventually roll out to something like Pulse Chain? Now, what I mean by that is if they roll this, what is it, EIP 1488, EIP 4844, not even close, and it helps the layer 2s, and then we've got here, approximately takes place block 8, what is that, 8,600,026,176, March 13th, UTC 1355. It says now this only applies to layer 2s. Full scale sharding will apply to Ethereum's network itself. We have to wait until major Ethereum 2.0 upgrade for this to be implemented. So that's going to be kind of cool because that if it reduces the fees by 90%, that might help people if you have stakes, small stakes especially, and large stakes also, but small stakes because the fees kind of suck. Now, if this makes the fees suck less, right, that'd be kind of cool. It provides more what's it called, usability for smaller individuals to be able to purchase Ethereum, purchase Hex, use the bridges, everything that they're talking about with on the layer 2 stuff. I did see a really good video about how to optimize be the most economical version of yourself when you're trying to purchase something like Pulse directly. If you have a look around, there's some cool videos out on that. And basically, yeah, I can't wait to see where this is going, because it gives me hope that Ethereum just won't die. X on Ethereum just won't die. Not that it won't die, because we'll keep doing this thing. There'll be the arbitrage opportunities, chasing network is still those things. So if you think that less people are going to be, I can't remember how it works now. If you think less people are going to be over there, then maybe you get a bigger bag, maybe you get a better payout, things like that. If there's less people staked, I can't remember how it works. Is it less people that stake, the lower the payout, or is it more people that stake, the lower the payout? I can't remember. But you know what I'm talking about if you're familiar with Hex itself on Ethereum. Now, what else? That's about it. I mean, I did think just briefly that maybe one day, if Ethereum can't figure out a way to actually reduce their fees, which is like a huge hurdle, huge barrier to entry for everyone, they could just sort of fork Pulse Chain. It's already done for them, because, I mean, the price didn't come over because it was 10,001, but the functionality is there. Okay, the block explorer is a bit different, but other than that, everything's working. The full network. It's like you could just simply reverse engineer the reverse engineer, fork out Pulse Chain and make the new Ethereum. But see, they would have to sacrifice, like Pulse Chain did. You have to sacrifice the price, right? So I'm not sure if the ETH bros want to actually, or any of us want to see the price of Ethereum in terms of profitability decreased by a lot. That could be an issue, especially if there was some sort of ETF event. I unless you're taking out a massive short. It was priced in that it's going to go down to like very low figures to fix up the fees, to make it functional. So that's just my thoughts on that. So I honestly think that the outage, the solar flare is very, very strange though. Like they're sort of tying that together, and like for some reason I clicked on Optus now, like mad ads everywhere. What the fuck? It remains unclear if there's a connection between the two events. Two outbursts from the sun occurred as widespread software outages were reported throughout the US. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're pretty big though, like exhibiting strong magnetic complexity. NOAA statement about the event. At least the telegram wires were blowing up like they were back in I think 1800s. Before the before all of the infrastructure that we have now existed, which would be concern. It said here issued an alert for solar radio emission. Coronal mass ejections. Interesting. Now, so was it that, or was it at the same time? There was could there have been a routing software upgrade taking place? I guess if they want to tell us the truth, they will. Later on, we'll see the actual result of AT&T. But there's got to be a better way. Like, you have to. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know nothing. I just find it interesting. Anyway, Pulse chain good. It's all up. It's still running. We've got validators around the world. Thank God. We're not all on AT&T. Thank God. We're not all on Optus. Thank God. Yes, the doom porn is real. What else? Yeah, it's still a mystery. Here. See, this is the thing. Was it a cyber attack? I mean, that would suck if it was. And like I said, that would suck if it was a cyber attack with the Optus thing and they just covered it up because maybe they don't want to lose face. Like, what if it was a hack while the upgrade was going on? Or like, what if they detected something and then that's, like when I think networks do it when they won't let you into a network and like it just locks out everything or locks out that particular connection. Can you imagine if they discovered something and then because they discovered something, they had to lock out the entire network and then bring it back one by one in a quote unquote secure manner? That would be crazy. Movie shit. Now, has the hallmarks of a hack. Okay, you read the headline only. Yeah, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile also affected. So I'm not sure if there's other network providers out there. But not good when your like 911 outage system crashes. It's like, who do you call? No one. Fuck. Reminds me of I think it was the Israeli invasion. The people on the ground, they didn't know who to call because the military wasn't around. So actually they called the equivalent of 911 and the police rocked up. And then the police were like the first responders to fucking a military incursion. That's would be concerning if there was a military operation and then you can't even call 911. It would be complete media blackout except for social media. Do you really be running on social media? And fucking so mean have some like 10-year-old autistic fucking around with people on social media could ruin the world. Respectfully. Now, 18 down. World is ending. I don't know about that. Hope it's not. Say, oh, gold is good in this situation. So too is crypto, as long as the net's functioning. So it would be guns and ammo, food, water, etc., etc. Land, friends. And the question is, solar flare. Did the solar flare actually do it? Be interesting to see if the GPS systems are functioning as well, because if the solar flares, let's have a look at that, because that would be really interesting to see if the GPS systems worked. I mean, they should be okay, yeah. We'll have a look at GPS systems news. AT&T. Like, does that communicate with that system? Doesn't say anything. It's funny though, it's got a solar superstorm could wipe out the internet for weeks. I guess that's worth a look. Go back and have a look again. Some fear porn, but worth thinking about. Solar superstorm could wipe out the internet for weeks or months, says scientist says. So as long as it's only the internet, not power, you know, wipe out power, that's a fucking whole different level of risk. Let's have a look. The idea, early warning system for dangerous solar activity that could damage critical technology. Ooh, maybe, just maybe, they were doing the upgrade in preparation for a huge solar flare. Who knows? Ooh, increasing its sun activity. What could a super solar storm do to Earth? So let's go down the route. If it was solar flare, right? If it was solar flare, we could take down the internet for a week or a month, which could be huge issues of disruptions for things, basically all supply chains, arguably GPS as well, which could be pretty traumatic for everything. Google Maps, I can think of aviation, things that need to be guided. Now, what else? The power grid satellites, underground fiber optic cables, copper sheaths. Navigation, GPS systems, radio transmitters, communication equipment are all vulnerable. It talks about the Carrington event, 1859, which I was referring to before, where the telegram poles blew out. Like, it fucking sucks so bad, because how long would it take to repair everything? The thing, yeah. I hope they've got like backups of everything, like wrapped in fucking material that is like a Faraday cage, which protects all electronic devices. You know, harden the infrastructure. It would also work, you know, for dealing with potential EMP attacks. Hacks, I'm not so sure it would work because, you know, that would be more sort of internal rotting out of the system. But yeah, so this is interesting. NOAA predicts stronger peak of solar activity in 2024 than originally anticipated. So, fuck, that's crazy. Just one more thing to add to this cycle. We've got the Bitcoin halvening, we got the US election, we got the interest rates, and now we've got potential solar flares and anything else that could take place. Plus a few wars here and there propping up around the world. Plus we have you know, the world record fucking, is it, markets at all-time highs, because we all know that stocks are hitting records, and we know that Europe at all-time highs, Japan at all-time high. But here in Australia, we're like suffering the biggest fucking plunge in OECD countries' living standards in terms of available income. But you know, everything's fine, right? Fresh records near like all-time highs. Okay, so the few stocks are just pulling everything up. Too big to fail. Too big to fucking fail. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes your super account look alright. It makes your investments look alright, but it makes people within that system that, like you hear in the crypto, you want to pump your own bags, right? So people are like, oh, I don't want stocks to go up. I need to pump my own bags. So that could be, in essence, what they're doing. Is that real? And there's a fucking moon landing going on. Dude, that's kind of cool. Let's have a look. This is like websites trolling me, Fox weather. That's crazy. Let's have a look at that. Intuitive machines waiting to confirm status of moon lander Odysseus after landing attempt. Is that real? Look at that. Maybe they're using all the power of their fucking of the networks to communicate to the moon. Think about it, right? If they can communicate with a thing that far away, but I guess maybe it's radio signals, but if they can communicate with something that far away, why can't we send Wi-Fi out that far away? Kind of cool. Radio Wi-Fi. Internet on the moon, you might have a little bit of a latency though. Might be insane. Making a trade on something we might be could be the time distance arbitrage, you know. That's crazy. Now, what else? What else? What else? I'll cover briefly some. Let's have a look here. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, man. Man. Yeah, this one. This fucking. Yeah, it is real. So while we're all talking about that, the it landed. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, you know. Very cool. Since 1972. Very nice. I guess if you are watching this sort of stuff, it is important to, you know, have your own sort of too. Oh, I gotta fix my audio. Sorry, guys. Oh, what's happening, Tins Up? What's happening to the pothead? Sorry, I didn't check my chat. Oh, yeah. Dark Ages doesn't sound good. You know what sucks as well? Talking about Dark Ages. Our freezer went out. Randomly kept spitting out these codes. And either the chip went down or I don't know what it was. And we went to buy some freezers, like deep freezer, you know, like a separate one. The fridge was working okay. We basically got a freezer that's like a fridge, one size freezer, one size fridge. Basically got two fridges at this point. What's going on? So we got another freezer, another fridge. And they had none. It was like huge outage. So say it's a bit doom and gloom, but imagine if things actually did go to shit and everything went down. You needed to buy some more stuff. There was no stock in the goddamn state. I'm like, how is there no stock at all? Like nothing, not one single thing. Crazy, right? Crazy. Yeah, I did see that Elon tweet. Yeah, less stake, bigger pool of shared, bigger payout. So if everyone, you know, exits. Yeah, Carrington event. They're talking about it here. I think there's a documentary about it. It's like it's stuck in my mind. It's like the black and white image of like a telegraph wire. It's just like now. What else? Okay, we'll look it up though. Carrington event. See if I can find. We got the Wikipedia. Oh yeah, I linked it to here. This one. It's requested. Carrington event history greatest solar storm. 1859. It could. Now I think we looked at this just before. Yeah, it's kind of cool though. The sun is a star. Now, what else? I was looking back, right? So the funny thing is now, if I think it was what was it, personal power or something, Tony Robbins, and like the motivational stuff. Basically, you know, if you write down your goals, then you sort of, you know, have something to work to, and then you remember them. Now, this was before cryptocurrency, but I knew something wasn't right, so I wrote lots of goals here without going through all of them.
I found these. It's like an old bit of paper. Basically, here. Can't read that. But on the back also I was calculating how many hours of study I was doing a week. Turns out I was doing 41.5 hours with 2 courses full time. What was it? I think it was some accounting stuff. I was trying to figure out, optimize my study. Now, there's many goals listed on here, and one of them, for some reason, near the top is earn income that produces more income. Another one, sit and not feel fat, because I figured that, sitting's sitting's pretty unhealthy. And then earn income every day. There's a whole lot of other ones. The other ones are added as well. And it's funny because I maybe didn't achieve all of them, but I got close. Like one of them, it's like gain government employment, become an accountant, obtain GPA 6.0, which I was really close. Bachelor of accounting, which kind of sucked. Earn a Nobel Prize, lol. Visit the pyramids, visit Hawaii, reach enlightenment, read minds, become a lawyer, buy a new car, work from home. I did that. Learn everything, win some lottery, sleep less, own a house, getting there, live in a nice unit, donate from investments, trade daily and be profitable, win a bodybuilding contest, have huge stamina, be able to do many chin-ups, learn Cantonese, attain Bachelor for Accountancy, obtain high distinction, failed, reduce fear, retire early. What else? Gain CPA or chartered accountant, regrow hair. It was balding back then, and this is like when I was younger. Then I added some more. Come first in the IPSC round, which I did. Shoot trap, which I did. Win a trap comp, which I did. Win IPSC. I never actually did that. Compete in trap, dude. Compete in sticks, yeah. Where was going with this? So back then I knew something wasn't right, and basically earn income that produces more income. So when I saw that, I'm like, how the fuck? It's like I was sending messages back from the future to myself, or it already happened and I already knew, one of the two. Earn income that produces more income. So that reminds me of something like cryptocurrency, specifically Hex. Maybe the LP providing on PulseX, maybe some other platforms. But yeah, I find that fascinating because I figured in my mind, after getting a job and trying to get income, that the saying, if you can earn income while you sleep, it's better, it's beneficial. And if you only work for hours and get paid per hour, you can only ever work so much and earn so much. So you're limited by that factor. So no matter how much you earn, no matter how much you work, we all know this. Hexagons are well aware of this. This is why we sue things like Pulse Chain, PulseX, INC maybe. As we can see, we can provide liquidity, we can buy something and hold something that's gained huge value. Because I saw something the other day, I think it was Changely? Remember? Had like a price analysis of what they think is going to happen with Hex. As a blog or some shit. Because I didn't have Pulse Chain. I had this here though. Someone also wrote this, so it was actually potentially someone could go through and write an update for Pulse Chain Hex or Pulse Chain itself. There we go, by this lady. It says here overview. It was okay to read, right? I'm not sure how often this gets updated. By 23rd, most recent. Yes, I'm not sure how close they're tracking this, but they changed the blog, right? I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. It's kind of interesting, but they have some interesting price predictions. Now we go through here like that, and then March 2024 fluctuates, basically moving sideways, and if for some reason it has it pulling back at around 20. It's got a table. They push it all the way out to like 2040. So I don't know if they're doing the actual maths or where they're getting it from, but
they do not cast it in an overly negative shadow, but the prices I feel that they predict here are somewhat lower than I would anticipate. So I'm not sure what models they're using, what data they're pulling from, what statistical analysis they are, applying to the data set which they're using, what theories they're applying, etc., etc. But or what computers systems they're using, I guess, for another one. It has here that, like, say September 2025 or November 2025, it's got it at like 1 cent and 69. It's curious because if it continues on with the ratio as we see here through not including EHEX. So if EHEX was 1 cent 69, then what would PHEX potentially be? They go out to 2026. I think it's updated briefly. Minimum, average, maximum. So I'm looking at the minimum price here. It's saying November 2026, 2 cent. 27, they got at 3, and it's just got like this slow creep up. So maybe they're basing it on the T-share valuation, the amount of hex in circulation, patterns of what people have done previously. I don't know what it is they're doing. I don't completely disagree with these models though. I think they're very, very, like, it's the minimum model, and it would not surprise me if you see prices from 5 years in 5 years time, like a little bit closer, but maybe not. But that being said, it sort of provides you some insight, or it might provide some insight as to how one might approach a certificate of deposit. Because most of the time, certificate of deposits don't sort of, insanely moonshot in price. But not usually, certificate of deposits, not usually. But if it's a cryptocurrency certificate of deposit, then maybe, just maybe, right? Maybe this little hex here might become like huge hex, like cover the wall sort of hex. Now, it goes out to 2030. At 2030, they predict something like, November 11 cents, which would be very impressive because just imagine if that was somewhat accurate and you did see this slow trickle up. And that's the minimum case. I mean, the minimum case to me, other than going negative, is the price just slowly creeping up, like similar to this, I would say. If not outright, just flatlining. If it flatlined, it is still profitable to engage in the smart contract, I would say. If it slowly increases, it is also profitable to engage in the smart contract. Now, this is not including Pulse X, this is not including Pulse Hex. Not Pulse X, like Hex on Pulse, I should say. Not including Pulse Chain and that potential price appreciation. This is only purely Hex. And if, for instance, I don't know, you bought earlier, or if you're buying now, even if you bought the all-time high, and if you've laddered out and you didn't sacrifice all-time high, you didn't buy to sacrifice to obtain the sac rate, which is currently sitting at Pulse Chain, then forget about that. But if you were to purchase now and ladder out, and if it did do this right, and you had ladders ending once a year, every year you hit the target, you then can approach it and go, okay, this stack has come out. What do I do with this stack? Chances are the price is higher than it was when you purchased. Factually, you will have more hex than you started off with if you burnt and mined. You will also, it'll be fact that the T-shares will be more expensive when you end. How much it affects you is relative to your position, because if you've only got, say, 1,000 hex versus 10,000 hex versus 100,000 hex versus multiples of 100,000 into the millions, it might matter a little bit more. And it would also matter a little bit more if you're intending to end your entire stack, which I think may not be the best move, because you will literally murder the price, push it against yourself. It might be smarter to, maybe provide LP. Do what you want with your money, people will. But if they are more informed on how they could approach this system, maybe they won't murder the price. But like maybe they provide some LP providing, and as they sell out, it takes it off the market, provides it, hopefully goes into some stronger hands,
and then they will hold another token in which they can sell and do whatever they want with. Maybe it's a stable, and maybe that allows them to exit in a timely manner without without being like a bull in a china shop, just destroying everything while on the way out. Going fucking nuts. Yeah, but I don't. If this was the case, right? If this was the case, shit, I'll still be buying some more. Look at 2050. That's pretty far out. But that is some meat on the bone. I tell you right there. That's juicy. Like what is it now? Say, I mean, like this is on your given your time frame. This is like far out. If you're young and you're in Hex, I'll be some old senile man, and you'll be like fucking. You'll be doing okay. So is it 24? What do we got? Oof. Another 15 years. That's crazy. That's fuck. That's impressive, right? Assuming that, like I said, assuming Ethereum hasn't forked, assuming that Pulse Chain hasn't forked, I don't know. But if it's like, fucking hell, even a small stack, it's like, why would you tell people to? I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I personally think they're low. It sounds crazy. It's like, yeah, you got to hit some other targets before you start saying hex to $1. It's like, yeah, maybe hex to like 5 cents first, maybe hex to 10 cents, and then you can start talking about multiples like 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Comparing it to Bitcoin, it's like, oh, but Bitcoin did like 3 whatever million X it did. Maybe some other tokens have the ability to do so. I don't know. I think these prices are low, but at the same time, they're very impressive. Like, if I had a stake that was 15 years, and it comes out in 15 years or 16 years time, whatever it may be, and it was worth that much, I would not be sad. However, the ending fee may be of a concern, because it might be difficult to end such a stake, and the price of Ethereum in 15 years, Bitcoin, oh my god, will be, I have no idea. But it would not surprise me if these prices, at minimum, are hit. And it would be interesting to see this sort of analysis or this sort of guide on so whoever, maybe we should read. There's the option. I don't know if you can see that. There's the option here, right for us. So if anyone out there is interested, maybe you could get your AI bot on. I'm not sure. I'd be like, apply this to Pulse Chain Hex. What do you think? I don't know. Same thing or higher because fees are lower. Maybe they're taking into account the amount of fees that it requires to emergency end stake, emergency end stake, good accounting and transfer. Buy ETH to start off with, or do the other L2 route and you Coinbase layer 2 purchase, and then use another bridge and swap in, get Pulse. Do what you want with Pulse. Maybe you buy the thing you like on Pulse, other than Pulse, something like Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and yeah, have a field day. I'm just looking at these prices, like I can imagine them like quite easily. It's just a matter of time. It's like time's a special ingredient here. I'm playing this funny little game on my phone. I wish I was younger. Yeah, we can't change it though, The I'm playing this like game. There's like farming games, and you have a phone, click on the button, and you get more resources. And it's funny because I'm like trying to pass the time, other than like working as well. But I'm waiting for another lamp to come through because anyway, can't drive around an unsafe car. And the what's it called? You wait, go back, and you get resources, coins, iron, food, etc. You can level up your shit,
and your mines then can produce more. And I'm just sitting back thinking, going, "Fucking hell!" Like I'm literally playing this online game, this fake currency, and harvesting more shit. Now it's not worth it. Most people give up because it's like one of those grind games where it encourages you to. It's like, oh, just buy this for $1, just buy this for $2, just buy this for $10, and you buy all these kits and stuff. Instead of the upgrades take 1 hour, 2 hours. Now some of them are taking like, just wait 2 days to come back. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come back in 2 days. Click the buttons, and I'm getting more resources on there, but everything then costs more, etc., etc. Game mechanic inflations. Um, and I can't help but think while I'm doing that, like just passes some time. It's kind of fun because I like keeping track of everything and seeing how much it increases by, etc., etc. I'm thinking this is actually taking place in the real world. Where if you have got Hex locked away, or if you've got mad gains in Hex, or you've got some LP somewhere, or some way of getting yield safely in a safe manner, which personally I'm not straying very far from the Richard Hart ecosphere myself personally, but that's completely up to me because I just remember a stream. You mentioned some people might not ever use anything else but these particular products. So yeah, there's some wallets out there. I may have engaged with some other things, but it's no way. It's not like I don't think they've replaced what's already in the original ecosphere. So that's where people may differ in point of views. Just like people may differ where you say, oh, I think it's a solar flare, I think it's a hack, I think it's a security update. Each to their own. In the end, mathematics is king, and price will do what it's going to do, and we can see who was right. Um, and I can't help but think, just looking at this was reassuring. I actually found this through. I logged into a different computer. Nothing to do with my normal computer. I just typed in, what is Hex? How do I find more about Hex? It wasn't all that easy because at the moment, I don't know how to put it. Everyone's gone through so much content already, and we already know. I think everyone knows so much about Hex. Who's already in Hex, understands it, like all the ins and outs. Like I'm able to mumble along here on this chat, and you guys are telling me more. Like you guys remember better than I can. Like the less stake, bigger percent of pool shared equals bigger payout. That's how good this strong this community is, right? It's just new people that either maybe they don't ever trust us, maybe they don't ever engage in Hex, maybe they just prefer something like Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I don't know. Maybe they don't even find that. Maybe they discover some meme token or something like that. Maybe they discover the Hedron Icosa stuff. Maybe they discover that. But then that should, in my mind, that would lead them back to Hex. That would lead them back to Pulse Chain. That would lead them back to things on Pulse Chain like Hex. Maybe my mind is wired a little bit different. I'm not so sure. Maybe I have too much faith in this system, and where because I'm like these numbers are low. Let's have a look. So, what is it saying though? 2025. It's only saying just under 2 cents. 2025. So by then, one would imagine some sort of bull market has kicked off with Bitcoin. Some sort of bull market has then cycled into the alts, Ethereum and the alts, and then maybe people just take bad profits from there, and then the decorrelation takes place, and we've just been fueling up the infinite time machine, the infinite 0 point energy, which is Hex T-shares, and it just fucking takes off. I don't know, or alternatively, it's just a slow sort of creep up as the T-shares creep up. Either or, I'm not fussed. It just depends how much time you've got and how long you're going to be here. Because I'm going to be here for a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, we'll be here fucking ever, pretty much. As long as the internet's working, right? As long as there's no solar flares taking down our shit, no hacks taking down our shit, and no software upgrades that wreck shit. Yeah, that's about it. I like the stability that we're currently experiencing. I call it, but it's almost, is it a buying opportunity? I don't know. Is it like I said, I think these prices are particularly. I still think they're low. Now, it might just be me, but I'm also used to this one sack rate. I'm like, oh, it's above sack rate. It's sat here for so long now.
this starts to feel cheap. But remember when it was like a lot lower? Well, under sack rate, everything was under sack, pulse, pulse X, all under sack rate. That felt cheap, right? But then you sit and look at it for long enough, and it's now it's like looking okay. Like, oh yeah, this is so low. I'm sick of. I'm sick of it. It's like, yeah, but it's okay compared to what it was, right? Maybe it's just me. Maybe have you heard the saying? It's like when you stare into someone's eyes. I think it was a Big Bang Theory song, and they're like staring into someone's eyes for like 5 minutes. At the end of it, you might feel some sort of emotional feeling towards that person or that thing. Maybe that thing is Hex, and I've been staring at this thing for way too long, and I'm just falling in love with it. Like his fucking pulse chain, his pulse sex, his INC, his Hex is fucking so sexy. I need more of it. This is not fair. I need more of it. That's what I think it is. I think I'm addicted to it. That's honestly that's correct. Um, I'll be interested to see also how this functions if no one else new comes in, right? And it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and the ability as it keeps growing to like those small thin slices might become 10x, 100x, 1000x. That'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool to see that. I think we actually will see that. Like I said, time frame not so sure. But if you refer back to the data points here, uh, as what the worst case scenario. I can actually look at the high prices. That's the maximum. The quote unquote maximum price. The maximum will never hit a penny maximum in 15 years. Thereabouts. 20 cent. Not even all time high. Shit. I still think we're gonna crack all time high. Probably like probably this bull run cycle, but it's fucked. Uh, this is my bet. Can you imagine just fucking logging in one day and it's like Hex is EX is $8.27. Um and okay, say it's $11.23 and you're like I think fuck I had this stake. Just think fuck I had this stake and it ended. And even though I paid all these fees, all this shit, I've got the copy of this stake over on Pulse Chain, which can probably take some profits there to get some to pay for the goddamn ETH to pull out this particular stake because I can't throw away this amount of capital because just imagine what that could look like potentially, especially if Ethereum do get around to fixing up their fees for their main for their they roll out full scale sharding for the entire network itself as opposed to just the L2s. Oh my god. It's like in the meantime I'll just keep streaming just thinking about it. I in the meantime maybe people have some goals, try to achieve some or maybe write some new ones because some of these I think I need to add some what else what could I do? I could keep continuing with these, but I just I like the fact that earn income that produces more income. That's like number one. I don't even know why I highlighted these ones. Like I've got like pencil pen. Pen came in later. Then I think I selected three that were the I guess primary ones. I've got numbers next to them. I can't remember what the numbers were. Got like a want list. Oh yeah, this is a good one. I want to be worth 2 billion. I want to earn $500 a day. I want 365 term deposits. I want to reinvest income. This makes sense. And I want to spend $100 a day. I think I have like some weird issue where I can't take profits and I can't spend money, so I have to like ingrain it into myself to do this shit because it's important. And then I want to have $2 billion. I don't know where I got those figures from, but like I said, even if I don't achieve the billion and 2 billion, it's a pretty good objective, you know. So really, I should have put I wanted 100% on my fucking GPA. Maybe I want to do it a high score. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Me and we should call this me and my addiction to cryptocurrency. Um, Price is looking good. I don't know. Farm people like farm, take some profits in a sensible manner. Go live life. If I can worry about this bullshit with the, well, be prepared. Be prepared for the worst, the absolute fucking worst. But maybe when the best happens, it's not so bad. Have like no expectations. Because what the fuck can I do about a solar flare? Not much. What can I do about a hack? A little bit. What can I do about a solar flare preparation? Yeah, a little bit, not too much though. But yeah. If we're all in a fear state, we're not going to be too successful. Just stay away from fucking stocks. Man. That shit's fucking rigged. How can it be all time highs? Like, fucking no way. How it's all time highs and all these shits going on. It's still all time highs. You ever been to the store lately and bought anything? You don't notice any issues at the pump? It's the whole trying to figure out shit. See, and what I like about the Hex community and the cryptocurrency community, what I like about it is like even though we can't analyze things that are like wrecked, like this ongoing what's going on with the solar flare situation, whatever. I like the fact that most people come back to how to make more money, how to become financially free, how to get yourself out of debt, how to escape the prison planet. Because if we use the prison, well, we have to use the prison planet as currency, right? But if we'd be able to make a successful endeavor and we ourselves are able to produce something in a similar way, or if someone's given you a tool to use to provide more money, why wouldn't you use that, right? It makes no sense not to use that. And the fact is, we have the upper hand because we understand how this works and we try to teach people this, but no one wants to listen. And then when it crashes from all time high, they want to point and laugh and say, you were wrong, we were right. It's like, hang on. If you were in and did XYZ, you're probably still doing okay. And the fact is that you're ignoring all of this. Yeah, you might have made some own gains in your maybe your circle or your community or whatever. Like Bitcoin's still up, Ethereum's still up from fucking inception, Bitcoin's still up from inception. So congratulations. If you want more gains, maybe they don't need more gains. If you want more gains, maybe check out Pulsechain, maybe check out Hex, maybe check out Pulsex, maybe but we don't need your money, it's fine. But the fact is everyone is trying to figure out a way to escape this fucking prison planet, because the prison planet is the sort of shit that's gonna roll out against you and say, did you know all the networks went down for whatever because the fucking alien invasion, and because the networks are down, you have no access to money, you have no access to food, you have no access to water, you have no access to anything. So thereby, you have to come over here in this little pen that we provided for you, and then we can issue it for you, and that's how they enslave you. That is my thoughts on this. This is why I think cryptocurrency is so important. Whether or not it's cryptocurrency as a whole, individuals tokens which are like truly decentralized and have no fucking admin keys and all that bullshit, and not your keys, not your coins, etc., etc., and you practice operational security, that is fine as well. But I think that opportunity exists in this timeline for us to escape the prison planet, or to make the pressure not felt so much. You're welcome. Hopefully it's all right. Yeah, that's right. I just sort of go online and talk about shit that I find interesting. It may not even make sense, but yeah, I like to think that we as a community are able to free ourselves. What was I saying? Free ourselves from the chains, the shackles and chains which we're almost born into. Think about it. I don't think unless you're mad rich, I don't think your bloodline was granted the gift to be able
to do whatever the fuck they want. Like, unless you're like some Saudi sheik or something, or the Queen of England or some shit. Maybe they just born into like some mad, insane wealth. Maybe some political families, maybe like the bloodlines, like Rothschilds and shit like that. The banking bloodlines. I don't know what you call them, the Illuminati bloodlines. And you have all this money, you were raised and born with it, and therefore you have the ability to influence things. I don't think most people are like that. And I think people have to struggle hard. I think I know myself had to struggle to survive. And then it gets to the point where the struggling becomes easy. It gets easier and easier and easier. Then you get kicked in the fucking face, kicked in the guts, and you have to start again and again and again and again. I know myself. This is why no one should listen to me. I always tell my people, like, don't never fucking do what I do. But then they would have never found cryptocurrency. But because the risk tolerance that I can handle is probably equal to some of you guys in the chat, and if anyone else catching it live. But yeah. And yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so I highly doubt people are born into that sort of money. Cryptocurrency will provide us the ability, hopefully, maybe it already has, maybe it will. Maybe it already has in the future. We just have to wait for the time to pass. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want. Whether that be continuing your work, whether that gives you the freedom to be able to make a choice, like it did, cryptocurrency did with my decision not to provide informed consent, and I won't go down that path because YouTube might block it. But basically, whether it's just that little event that helps you free yourself from the chains and shackles, not the literal chains and shackles. I'm not saying all of government is bad or all of the systems in place are bad, because shit. And here, we've got some pretty good healthcare systems here in Australia, Neighborhoods are pretty safe. Fucking, there's not too much issues with drugs and shit like that. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But when it comes to, the survey, we saw an article recently, there's AI watching everyone's bank accounts in the US, and no doubt it's doing it here in Australia, probably every other country that's, tied into the similar sort of networks. I would call it maybe the Five Eyes. No, maybe it's further. Maybe it's J6, J7. Can't remember what it is. Maybe it's just everyone under the fucking everyone on the planet. Who knows? Maybe they're just all sharing notes, trying to figure out how to keep the masses under control, keep them happy, keep them subdued, keep them content with life, and then provide them a path if they so choose to try and be able to free themselves. And it's not that they're just going to hand out fucking money, because they haven't got it. The banking system's I'm not even sure how it's existing. That's another story. But it's proven. It's you get if you don't study, then you're subject to a life of physical labor, and or thievery, and or maybe the military, and or law enforcement, or something like that. Even then, you have to have enough mind capacity to be able to endure some of the tests that are put forward towards you, whether it be literacy or whatever. So it depends on how your mind functions as to where you end up. Whether or not you end up in a particular job is up to you. Then you have the choice: do you want to study further? Do you want to get promotion off you? And then windows of opportunity come, whether or not you recognize them at the time. When they say a door closes, a window opens. That'll come along, and whether or not you take the opportunity or not, it's completely up to you, and based on how you make your decisions, free will, etc. It depends on the influences you come across in life, whether or not you're actually, whether or not you're paying attention to the doors that are opening. I still remember it was I was at doing what's it called, driver's license, and I was tick 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 tick. This is where you give away whatever. The guy's he looked at me. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I was dumbass. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. And he's tick 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 tick. He's that he crossed. And it wasn't until fucking years and years later I was like, dude, that's what the fucking dude was trying to say to me. Yeah. I was okay. So that was, to me, in that one particular instance, that was a door of opportunity closed, because I passed later on, but that particular instance, it sticks with me. Now I'm sure you guys have had many instances like that. I'm sure there's many I fucking didn't even recognize, but yeah, So I'm sure, like I said, go pulling it back to crypto, that I'm probably missing out on a fuck ton of gains because I'm not working harder and purchasing more cryptocurrency, because later on I'll be going, why did I buy fucking more? Why? And it's really hard to explain this to people. It's like, especially people who've never fucking heard of you. And they're like, why should we listen to you? Who is this guy? What the fuck? What is this hex? What is this pole chain? What is pole? Oh, isn't it a scam? Fucking 5 years later, they're like, oh, maybe it's not a scam. You know, it's still going. It's like performing exactly as it was designed to perform. Although it's not an all-time high, so that's the end of the world. It's like, okay, have you seen what some people think the price might do? You know, and then if you listen to the absolute insanity, did you see what it actually did do near the all-time highs? It might happen again. You never know. It might happen again and again and again. You never know. Now, got that off my chest. You know, thank you, chat. Thank you, stream. Thank you, internet, for being up and operational. In fact, not being taken out by a solar flare. Yeah, I mean that's. Oh, God damn. Blow my ear out. That's beautiful. Crypto is a tool that can give alternatives to being coerced with no alternative. That's right. Government isn't all evil, but it tends to coerce. Fucking get out the way. Stupid heart. Puts. Oh my god. I've got like the heart icon like right here, and I'm like, fuck does that say? Hang on. That's fixed. There we go. I'll read this one. Crypto is a tool that can give alternatives to being coerced with no alternative. Government isn't all evil, but it tends to coerce. What the fuck is it? It tends to coercion if there is no competition into their money. Ah, yes, that's a good point. A very good point. You know, and then why should we, like, if we realize that, and that is factually correct, if that is factually correct, then why would we then play by their rules if the rules are designed against us? It's like, shouldn't we then maybe try and seek out our freedoms? It's like, if you have a business, right, and the business is shit, and you go to that shop, you're part of the problem. It's like, okay, these are people that build fences can't build fences, and everyone goes to them, and all the fences in the neighborhood are just shit. It's like, but then no one can be bothered to figure out how to make a better fence. No one can be bothered to do any of that. And then that is why there's shit fences in the neighborhood. Then you need to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, I am part of the fucking problem here, you know? So if the problem is, if we think the problem is that the legacy system's a bit broken, it's skewed towards people that have or maybe born into insane wealth beyond your possible dreams, who did not achieve it through hard work and therefore have a vague grasp on reality, except for what their advisors tell them about, or how they were. You know? So how do you earn your money? I click a fucking button. It's like, how do you earn your money? I fucking, I go log into my bank account. There's just all these numbers there. It's like, okay, you're gonna have a hard time getting along with people who fucking shovel shit for a living, like that, or like lift heavy things for a living and have an injured body and a wrecked. They're maybe not gonna understand the same sort of, they might be different, which is fine. But yeah. As I was saying before, like, if we engage in that, in essence, we are part of the problem. Like, if we don't think there is a problem, that's fine. Don't bother investing in any company. Don't bother putting your money anywhere. Just don't bother trying to run a business. Don't bother trying to start a business. Don't bother trying to make a world the better. Don't bother trying to make a world which is better for you and everyone. Yeah. If that's the case, then you think, well, the world is perfect, so therefore the money's perfect, so therefore you should have infinite money in your bank account, yeah? You should have something that always is able to provide you with income. Not a universal basic income, because that rubs me the wrong way, that term, because that can be used, from the Klaus Schwab's groupies that sort of push this "you own nothing and be happy," and I don't agree with that because I think you should be able to own whatever the fuck you want within reason. Like maybe you shouldn't own. I'm not gonna go there. You should be able to own whatever you want, seriously. And if you can create something that provides a universal basic income in terms of the ability to provide you with income through your own intellect to be able to discover something, which eases the pressures on you, you will be able to potentially, maybe it's not guaranteed, you might be able to escape the what are they called? You know, on the torture rack, and they got like the screws and they tighten them and it hurts more. If they're applied to you, maybe you can ease the tension on some of them, and maybe just maybe it won't hurt so much until eventually one day you're able to actually completely remove them, be free of the chains and shackles, and then live your life as you were born, free. But until that point in time, you're going to be subject to debt. Think about the system in place. It provides you with the ability to own a house. Maybe it's a nice house and you could probably afford outright. But at what cost? Your time. And at what time is that? Maybe 30 years. That's a long time, right? Now, you say 30 years is just too much time. I'm not going to fucking lock my coins for 30 years. It's like, you know the amount of fucking money that you pay back to the bank. Although you know this, everyone knows this. You pay this money back to the bank for a 30-year mortgage at whatever the price rate is. It might be fixed, it might be variable. Most of the time it's after a set time the fix resets and you get wrecked because the price is about possibly gone up, like we saw previously with interest rates increasing a lot. Now, that's a long time, 30 years, right? That's like the majority of your fucking life. And that's a problem. But no one cares about that because you get the house. You forego, you don't apply patience and you get what you want now. Now, it's a hard sell to say fuck mortgages because they can be a useful instrument and they do provide people a way to obtain the house that they want, even though they pay back about even though they pay back. Think about the what's it called? Isn't it longer pays beggar? Longer pays better, bigger pays better. And if you put in, say, 100,000 hex after the 15-year period, you get back about 300,000 hex. That would be on par with a fucking 30-year mortgage, but in reverse. So you would borrow, you'd have money given to your account, $100,000. By the end of the 30-year period, you would have paid back to the lender $300,000 of your money. That doesn't sound like the best deal, but when it comes to saying, if you locked away X amount for like 30 years, people would go, that's fucking stupid. It's like, but it's like a reverse fucking mortgage. No one gets this. No one understands this. Is it that it's not even that? It's even anyway. It's like, what did Bitcoin do after 13 years? What could other things do? I mean, it could go to zero, right? Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's possible technically, but it could if everyone pulled their liquidity, everyone sold, and then there'll be no incentive to end stake, but people would still end stake, and there'll be it's like infinite money glitch. Yeah, I think we've got to let people realize this themselves because it's like trying to save people. They're like, what the fuck are you talking? Yeah. That's about it. I think, in summary, I think crypto good. In summary, I think Pulse Chain, Hex, PLSX, INC very good. Hex on multiple chains, I think very good. I think Ethereum, I hope they get their shit together long term and solve the fee problem because I think they can see where this is going. 10,000 hex, $10,000 per Ethereum. It's like, how much is it going to cost to make a swap on that then if the current price is like $3,000? it's not the end of the world, but it's getting a bit more expensive, you know. Then we got the world ending, mobile networks down. Small taste of what could happen if networks actually go down. God forbid there'd be a fucking EMP strike, etc., etc. Around the world, it's happened before. You think that would learn from fucking if it was a network outage like it was here in Australia with Optus, you think they would fucking learn it to get some better devs. It's like if a routine software upgrade could cause huge network outages, it's kind of a problem, you know. It's a huge problem. Um, Solar flares increasing as we saw back in the same around the same time, saying you know solar flares um, are on the rise for 2024. So if that was a stock, you'd be buying it, longing it. If you're betting that there'll be more fucking solar flares, and back on the moon, kind of cool. What else? That is probably it. Unless we see some cool shit. Yeah, man, I hope fucking Assange gets freed. I think we have politicians here in Australia who are saying that um, we should kind of free him because he's like an Australian citizen. Like, unless the politicians don't actually care about Australian citizens, then maybe they should fucking do something. But again, I digress. Now, yeah, please, 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 God, Father, Heavenly Father, please fucking do not smite the earth with a fucking Carrington event because that would be fucking nasty. Right? No one wants that shit. And yeah, I think I'd love to see someone write one of these, what Hex is all about, but with you know the Pulse chain version. Maybe Pulse. Oh, if I find a Pulse chain one, I'll pull it up, show you guys. If you guys have ever seen it. Can you imagine it? And they don't even talk about t-shirts. This is the funny thing. They're not even saying like this is the price, but how much the t-shirt will fucking be, and how much are you printing out of thin air every day. We had an outage at a network I ran once. It was caused bumping the plug. God damn. That fucking serious? Dude. It's like the dude's like, fuck this company, they're just like pulling the plug out. Oh, it's a solar flare, fuck. They need some funding. And they got a buddy who works in a fucking solar flare shielding company, like, oh, we got some experts so we can bring them in, yeah. Yeah, imagine that though. He's like a plug. It was a loose cable underground. One of the fucking submarines down there, one of the people drilling for oil, they fucking knocked the cable. Fuck. Oh man, fucking it's weird though. Like when you run that Tails operating system like through a USB stick, it's like if you knock the USB stick, it just wrecks everything. So can't there be a fucking better way? Why do they make the whole fucking internet like that anyway? Why do they make it the way? Why do they design it like this to track and trace us all? It's crazy. What the fuck? All right, all right. That's it. That's it, men and women. That's all we got. That's all I got. If anything, you probably got dumber from watching this stream. You probably learnt less, and you probably got another layer of tinfoil hat on your head. So, free speech signing out.